Hey guys, it's Courtney back from Wonder in English, and today I want to give you guys 10 essential idioms in English. Let's get started. The very first idiom that a lot of my foreign friends did not know is play it by ear. So that just means that you're going to see how things go. You're not going to set everything in stone. You're not going to make all these plans. You're just going to see how things unfold over time. So I like to use this all the time with my friends. Normally we'll be hanging out and we'll say, hey, what should we do later? And I'll just say, yeah, let's just play it by ear. I don't know, let's not make any plans. Let's just see how we feel later and play it by ear. So that might seem like a really weird idiom. Play it by ear. Why ear? My foreign friend from Sweden actually thought it meant play it by year, which also doesn't make any sense. But play it by ear does make sense because it originated from people playing music. So back in the day when people played blues and jazz, sometimes they would just play it however they felt like it. And they didn't read the sheet music. They didn't read the music in front of them and play whatever notes they saw. They just played whatever felt good. And that's exactly how we stole that idiom, and now we use it for our everyday life. The second idiom is take it with a grain of salt. So a lot of times humans like to exaggerate or maybe describe situations not exactly as how they happened. That's okay, that's human nature, and that's why this idiom came to be. So, for example, if I know that my friend Yolanda tends to exaggerate or maybe not always tell the truth, I would tell another friend, hey, this is what she said, but take it with a grain of salt. Which means, listen to her, but maybe it's not actually true. Maybe you shouldn't believe it entirely. Don't completely trust in what she's saying. The third idiom that's essential is to beat around the bush. So when you go outside and you see lots of green little trees like on the ground, that's a bush. And when you beat around the bush, that simply means that you're not addressing the issue directly. So if I have a problem with you and I say, oh, there's been lots of stuff going on and I've kind of been feeling weird and I feel like there's something happening, and I don't actually tell you, hey, you're making me upset. You did this and now I want to tell you exactly what you're doing so that you can stop. That's direct. If you don't act direct, if you don't address the issue, and you talk about kind of everything around the issue, but not the issue itself, that is beating around the bush. So we often like to use this in the negation. So we'll say, stop beating around the bush, or don't beat around the bush, because we want people to be more direct. This is important, especially in the United States, because in this culture, we actually tend to not be direct with people. We like to talk about things and not really say what we truly mean. So this is an important idiom to cut to the chase, aka to get to the point. Number 4, once in a blue moon. So if you do something once in a blue moon, that means you do it every once in a while, not often, occasionally. So if I don't smoke cigarettes, but every now and then, maybe once a month, when I have a glass of wine, I smoke a cigarette, then I would say I smoke every once in a blue moon. I'm not really a smoker. Number 5, strike a chord. Strike a chord, you probably hear this if you listen to a lot of YouTube videos, speeches, And it's normally coming about in conversation when people are having connections with something that they're listening to, and it often leads to a realization. So what in the world do I mean by that? So if I am listening to somebody talk about eating healthy and why it's so important, if that strikes a chord in me or with me, either one, then that means that it resonates with me. I agree with it. I connect to what they're saying. And I've probably thought before, I should really change my eating habits. I need to eat healthier. And then I hear that person talk about it, and I'm just like, wow, that's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was feeling. So I connect to that message. It struck a chord in me or with me. Number 6, open up a can of worms. So visually imagine a can, opening it up and seeing a bunch of nasty, squiggly, wet, dirty worms inside. So if you have a whole can of worms and you open it, that's a surprise. That's not pleasant. It's gross. You didn't expect it to be in a can. So knowing all of that, when we use this idiom, it means that we don't want to open up an issue because there's so much drama and negativity and difficulty surrounding that issue. For example, if I'm going through a divorce and somebody asks me about it, maybe I'll say, I really don't want to open up that can of worms right now. Meaning, I'm really emotional about this. There's so much drama regarding my divorce. There's so many problems that I really don't want to deal with that issue right now. Can we just not talk about it? Can we not open up that can of worms? Number 7, the elephant in the room. Imagine if there actually was an elephant in the room. That would probably be huge and very, very noticeable, right? You would definitely see that first thing when you walked into a room. And that's why we use this idiom. We're talking about something that's extremely noticeable, but no one is talking about it. So for example, if my brother came home and he used to weigh 400 pounds and now he weighs 100 pounds, that's very noticeable. But imagine that nobody asked him about it. We all sat in the living room and no one asked him about his weight loss. That would be avoiding the elephant in the room. So anything that's very clearly obvious that people aren't talking about for whatever reason is called the elephant in the room. Number 8. So I originally had a different idiom in this place, but I actually heard it a bunch of times this week and realized that it's an extremely common idiom and that I have to include it on this list. That idiom is to give someone the benefit of the doubt. So what does that mean? It means that when somebody tells you something, it might not be very believable, but you decide to believe them anyway and decide to trust them anyway. So, if my spouse, my husband, is cheating on me, and I think that he's cheating on me, and he's getting all these messages from other women, and I confront him about it, and I ask him about it, and he says, of course not. Well, I could give him the benefit of the doubt and just believe what he's saying to me. I could just believe that he's not cheating. Or you could not give someone the benefit of the doubt and you could go through their messages, which is the exact opposite. So it's up to you. And number 9, to fall head over heels for someone or to fall head over heels in love. Okay, so imagine this is your heel and this is your head. So if you're head over heels in love, that means that your whole world just turned upside down because you just fell crazy in love with someone. So they completely changed your world and your life. Number 10 is come to fruition. And that just means that something comes true. So if I have a big dream and it finally comes to fruition, that means that my big dream came true. It came into reality. If I dream to run 10 miles and I run 10 miles, then it came into fruition. So this is a very useful idiom. Okay, guys, thank you so much for staying tuned. And I have a really important announcement that I'm actually working on a 30-day idiom challenge right now. And what that is basically a little audio recording every day for 30 days that you listen to. And there'll be a worksheet with it that you can use too. And I list out 5 idioms, the definitions of the idioms, examples, and then a story using those 5 idioms. And then you listen to it in the morning and at night. And then by the end of the 30 days, you will have memorized and be able to use 150 idioms with very, very minimal effort every day for 30 days. It's going to be really, really awesome. I'll have it on my website if you guys want to purchase it. And if you just want some free listening practice, I suggest logging into wonderinenglish.com and checking out my podcast there, because I list out important vocabulary, idioms, and I talk about really interesting stuff. So you're definitely going to want to stay tuned. Thanks so much for listening again. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And like this video if you want videos that are similar to this one. Have a great day. Bye.